We are the DFPN. Always question the answers.
No Gimmicks Podcast, and we bring it to you. Every time we turn live, man, you know it's the truth. Every after show, moving down, it's the time to move around. No Gimmicks Podcast is going down. Every night, every time in the ring, this is the time for the No Gimmicks, no we doing our thing. What's your state of mind, state of mind? Moving down the statement when we take the line. This is exactly wrestling the state design. When you see Stone Cold like me, with the stunner in the world, exactly, man, what we bring. Every night we move like Brock Lesnar, the F5, no gimmicks. We take you to your limit, what's the feeling? When we live in the air, you know we on, that's the time. Guarantee we move, you know how we respond. The state is mine, the state design when we feel it. Moving down, what's the healing? No gimmicks is the feeling.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the No Gimmicks Podcast here on the DFPN. We outside the pay window today, ladies and gentlemen. It is myself and my co-host, the Sith Lord himself, D. Vader. Welcome back, sir. How you been? What we got?
I am actually fabulous, my friend. Been getting some stuff done. You know, we had celebrated the wife's birthday yesterday. That was a pretty cool little get together there.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate that. Met some of the wife's friends' husbands and found out that we have lots of things in common, and they're just as ghetto fabulous as I am. So, this is crazy. It's crazy though. I didn't know they were like, you know, white boys ghetto. I didn't know that, but
yeah.
Yeah, Texas. I mean, you know, so it was cool. It was a cool little get together. It was all good, man. Just you know, working on projects and shit like that. You know, everybody is out there losing their damn mind with bullshit right now. And you know what I'm talking about. You know, the fact that R-Truth is back, and the fact that you know. It's just we're gonna get into it today.
We're gonna talk about it.
We got some shit to say about that, bro.
Let's talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, it's crazy. But no, that's it, man. You know, you and I chat through the week or whatever, but I don't know. It's just gonna be, you know, a kind of we're gonna keep it 1,000 on here, but it's gonna be kind of a positive spin. I got some really positive things to say today about AEW and the direction I think they're going into. Some stuff I've seen the other day on Dynamite, which I thought was pretty interesting, pretty good shit. So yeah, we're gonna get into it.
Let's get into the show, man. We got a good one. But let's start with where you just came from. Let's start with AEW. Yeah. Let's jump into what they got going on.
Yep.
All In Texas is coming to Arlington very, very soon. And what I looked at a couple of weeks ago and how they were doing ticket sales wise, they still had about half the arena that were they still needed tickets for. I looked again a couple of days ago and they're selling out really fast. A lot of people have garnered interest for this one. They've announced some good matches. Kenny Omega versus Okada is going to be on this card. Hangman Page versus John Moxley is going to be on this card, and they're starting to gravitate towards Hangman Adam Page and wanting to support him. And there's been a lot of positive things going on with AEW, and there's been a lot more. I'm seeing a lot more people tune in. We had somebody from our group, shout out to Mac, that he tuned into AEW and he watched AEW and he dug it. And you're starting to see the tide kind of shift to AEW's way.
Right.
And I'm interested in your thoughts on this because me looking at it from my end, I'm like, dude, they're doing a lot of things right. They're going in a right direction. How do you feel about it?
I mean, it's still, to me, a work in progress. Yep. But they're making the right strides to what they're doing. The fact that you were able to take Hangman Page, who was at one point one of the biggest heels they had because of the feud he had with Swerve, to then take him, and now the fans are showing empathy towards him, and they're rallying behind him, and he's the number one babyface that's got to stop John Moxley and stop the Death Riders from the chaos that they've created in AEW. I think that's a wonderful story arc.
Yeah.
and it's a full-fledged story for Hangman Page of redemption, is what it is. So I think they're doing a tremendous job with building this match and making this really important. The very foundation of AEW is on the line here at All In Texas. This is the biggest show of the year for AEW, especially it's one of the biggest shows they've ever ran here in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, they've been doing improving the ticket sales lately, because I think a lot of it is word of mouth. And I think a lot of people are realizing that, hey, this is coming up and it'd be kind of a cool thing to go be a part of. But also, to say this, I wasn't initially digging the fact that MJF was aligned with the Syndicate.
Me neither.
I thought that was like, I don't get this. And we always harken back to when Owen Hart joined the Nation. Like he was invited to the cookout. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when it comes to what I saw the other night with the Syndicate and MJF with Mystico, of all people, that was a pretty good segment.
Yeah.
First of all, the match I thought with Mystico and Blake Christian was actually pretty good for what it was. But the aftermath is what got my attention when the Syndicate came out there, and it's all four members, and they even got MJF's name on the graphic now, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yep.
And MJF actually, he kind of fits the Syndicate. But if you look at some of the moves that MJF is doing in the ring, it's kind of mimicking MVP somewhat. Like he's essentially took MVP's, like he's doing a ballman and all that shit now. Like he essentially took, I don't want to be like foreshadowing here, but it's like you kind of took, you're kind of taking MVP's spot. Like eventually it's like, are they going to pull a move here where Swerve or MVP is going to be put out of the Syndicate, and it's like they're going to side with MJF, or like,
yep.
That kind of got me thinking there. But at the same time, I'm enjoying the ride that they're taking us on here as it relates to where they're going to go with this relationship. And I enjoyed him calling Mystico Sloppy Sin Cara.
Yep, because he was.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just that too, real quick. It's all of that going on, plus my favorite trio in there, which is FTR with Stokely. I think tremendous shit. Now I gotta say something. Now I gotta say something.
Go ahead.
That doesn't make sense. Okay. Why is and I think I mentioned this to you privately, why is Okada aligned with Don Callis' family? Was he part of the Elite? Was he part of the Elite? Speaking of the Elite,
he was part of Chaos.
No. Okada.
Oh, yes, he was part of the Elite in AEW. Yes.
Yeah, in AEW. Yeah, when he first came in, he was part of the Elite faction with the Bucks and Jack Perry. It was all
right.
So all of a sudden now, okay, so he's not aligned anymore with the Elite. Where's Jack Perry missing in action? What? It doesn't look like the Elite is around anymore. It's the Bucks, but the Bucks had this thing going on with Swerve, and the Bucks kind of have an alliance with the Death Riders.
Everybody's connected in some type of way, which that's why I'm like, I'm willing to see where this goes, because Don Callis hates Kenny Omega. That Okada is connected with the Elite. The Elite is in this thing with pretty much Ospreay and Swerve, and it feels like they're working towards an end game to where everybody individually crumbles. And people started taking, and I go back to this promo that Ospreay cut, that he says, me, you, and Hangman, we can work together. We can start to work together. And I think that's where you're going with it, because you see him and Swerve with the Elite. You see Hangman going up against Moxley. And you see Okada going up against Kenny Omega. And we may get to a point where they are all going to work together. They already had the Anarchy in the Arena, and Swerve and Ospreay were at odds, but I think that match that they had on Dynamite brought them closer together, especially with the aftermath of that match. So the fact that Okada's aligning with Don Callis leads me to believe that we may see something on that front that affects him, because we know we have him versus Omega. at All In. So I'm willing to wait and see where they go with this because everything does seem like it's connected, but we need an explanation. And I think we need to get that explanation before we get to All In because it could be a good story that we're just not getting the full details on. And that's why I'm saying I'm willing to be patient on it, but I'm with you. It doesn't make sense right now seeing Okada with Don Callis. It really doesn't. Unless he's like, I see what's going on. I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. And that could be it, but we need an explanation.
Yeah, and it's like, so when is Blood and Guts?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. And that's what we could be working towards.
Right. Because it's like, you don't have that long to answer these questions.
Right.
We got, it's coming up, July 12th, So we don't have that long pretty much. We got to kind of get this story kind of going where we're going to go with this.
Right.
So I think that's
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm going to say, but the fact that we're actually like guessing on this front speaks volumes of what AEW's been doing because it's like they're not just throwing shit together. Like, okay, I'm willing to give this a shot and see.
It's
where
making me think of what it's like a mystery. It's making me think like what's really going on here, and that's good.
Yeah, that's really
good. That it's like we're not coming out here and actually talking about AEW in a negative connotation and kind of burying the situation. We're actually like, okay, this is intriguing here. What's going on here? Like, why is that? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But still, why is it happening?
Right.
That's kind of where we're at here. So I mean, I'm in the long haul here. I want to see what they do, especially with them coming to Arlington to do this event. I think it's gonna look fabulous on TV. Be honest,
yeah,
it's
me
look
too.
Great.
Me too.
So that's what I think they're gonna pull off, and you ain't gotta fucking mortgage your house to get to it either.
Yep, hell yeah. But AEW for me, I'm willing to give them a shot to see where they're going with this. I do like the fact that All In has gotten this buzz that they have gotten. Plus, they've added Starcast. Starcast is coming back. There'll be a 2-day thing with that. So they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot of good things, man.
So there'll be no gimmick presence at Starcast.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, the fact that they're getting a lot of attention right now, I like it. So I'm willing to see where they're going with it.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
Hell yeah. But
I think they got a good chance here with some stuff. But hold on a second before we move on to the next segment here. Look, they got a problem though. The problem though is that you are on July 12th, counter programmed against Saturday Night's Main Event, the final match of Goldberg, and that's going to be an issue for them, and that's why I'm talking about this morning on the podcast. Like AEW, you got to put your best foot forward. You got to put your best stories out there. You're up against the monster that seems to have it out for you. Yeah, this is like this is coordinated attack here against AEW with this counter programming. And there was a story that it was actually Nick Khan that's been pushing for this to counter program AEW. Yep. I don't know if that's the case or not. I think that goes a little bit deeper because it was going on before Nick Khan ever got to WWE. So this is an old trope that they used to do back in the day with Jim Crockett Promotions and any other wrestling territory out there. The Von Erichs, whatever. Yep. They used to always run against something like this, AWA, whatever. There would be some times, bro, when AWA would they were in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, and AWA would be running a show, and WWE would be in the same town running the same show, and have more AWA stars on the card versus Verne Gagne. So this is something they've done for many, many years.
They've been consistent at it, yeah.
But here's the gag. Do you want to see Goldberg in his final match versus Gunther for the World Championship and possibly beating him for the world title? But essentially what you're proving here is you took the belt off of Jey Uso.
We'll get to that later.
You took the belt off of Jey Uso basically to materialize this match with Goldberg. That's what it was.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much.
and we'll get to it because Rikishi has something to say about that. I thought it was pretty.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But if you're asking me, if I'm looking at this All In card so far, I'm watching All In. I don't. And you've already proven that with a Saturday night main event that was not up to par for me. So
I see in the comments, real quick, somebody
yeah, let's
says
get to him.
Vern hated Vince. He did, and you know what's funny? When Greg Gagne, his son, says he got a call, like way back in the day, he got a call about them wanting to induct Vern into the Hall of Fame, and then his dad says, "Why the fuck would they want to do that?" It's like, why the hell do they want to do that? Like, I hate his son. I tried to stop his son.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, if there's a documentary called the Spectacular History, I think it's called the Spectacular History of the AWA or something like that. It's on the WB Network. It's on Peacock. Very good documentary. It talks about the entire thing. It talks about how they had Hogan, and then Vince met with Hulk and stole him away from Vern, and it's just a crazy, crazy time. That's what I'm saying. Yep. This predatory behavior by WWF has always been there, and it's going to continue to be there. But it's time for AEW to just step up and say, listen, we're not going to be the Jim Crockett Promotions. We're not going to go out like that. Which in reality, if let's just keep it 1,000 right quick, history lesson, people. Jim Crockett Promotions put themselves out of business.
They did.
Vince played a role, but they overspent. I mean, what's the story that Dusty always said? Yeah, we were sitting in the office, and Jim Crockett comes into the office, and he goes in there, and he sees the man with the money. He goes in there, and he says, he comes out, and he's as white as a ghost, and he says, we're $4 million in the hole. Oh shit! That was it.
Yep. Yeah. Let's go to these comments. CJ, welcome to the show. CJ says, morning, welcome. Max says, I've moved to prefer AEW shows during counter programming than checking the WWE one the next day, which we may get into that situation on this front too. So Bill Bakken, what's up, Bill? He says Gunther versus Goldberg is going to appeal to anyone that's interested in All In. I absolutely agree with that.
Yep.
Definitely agree with that. And then CJ says that relationship was rushed. Rumor was that Vern put out a hit on Vince back in the 80s. And then we got somebody, hey, from Malaysia. I can't understand what you're saying, so I ain't gonna put your comments up, but welcome to the show. Hope you're enjoying it, man. Shout out to Malaysia. We're going global this morning.
Well, so what he's referring to right quick is he says Vern put a hit out.
Yeah.
He did. So the hit was on Hogan. Vern says okay, so Vern told he was gonna give Sheiky Baby $100,000
to break Hogan's legs.
He says, Baba, I give you $100, you $100,000 to break his legs, baby. And I told him no, I don't do that because he's gonna take care of me. And Vince didn't take care of Sheik.
Nope.
That's the problem. Because what would he say? He was like, I go in there and beat that Hollywood Ron Jabroni. Oh, but that's what he would say, right?
Yep.
And then he says, Sheiky, baby, I love you. No. And Sheik never got his win back in there. He was so pissed about that shit, bro.
Yep.
He was so mad. I mean, he had the whole fucking shit going down. And then he said he's going to get that push after. Like, he's going to get that return match. But it's like, no, dude, we're coming off the WWF era pretty much, and we're going into this new shit, and Sheiky Baby wasn't a part of that. But yeah, Vern Gagne put a hit out on Hogan, told Sheiky Baby, I'll give you $100,000 if you break his leg. Because first of all, Vern was so pissed that Hulk left to begin with.
Because that's where Hulkamania started.
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna agree with the Hulkster on this one.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna tell me, like, first of all, you sold a bunch of my merchandise when I went to Japan, and you wanted to keep all the money to yourself. Point. That's the thing right there. That's number one. Number two, we sat around. He says we sat around and booked the entire month's events coming up. Hogan on top with Nick Bockwinkel. That was what they were doing. Then he started having these problems, and Vern wanted to kind of like run Hulk. No, Vince McMahon, Vince Senior, or Vince Junior, I should say, found out about this, called Hulk and said, "Look, dude, I got this thing we're gonna be doing. I got this concept. I wanted you to be a part of it." Hulk said, "Fuck yeah, we're gonna do it." Well, nobody told Vern, so they're sitting around, waiting for this event to come up, and they get a postcard from Eddie Graham. And Eddie Graham, from Florida, said, "Hey, just like Hulk's not going to be there." And they thought it was a bullshit joke because they were like, "Oh, Eddie Graham, and my dad used to go at it all the time. They had a little friendly little situation. So, this is bullshit." Like, and it got to be Christmas and no Hulk. It's like, Greg Guy says, we call Hulk. It's like, Hulk, where are you supposed to be here? You didn't get the postcard? What postcard? Like, brother, I'm not coming. Well, you're booked on the show. Brother, I'm getting paid more money not to be there.
Yep.
Same thing with Mean Gene Okerlund. Mean Gene told me the same thing. I'm getting paid more money not to be there. Bobby Heenan, they said Bobby the Brain Heenan was the only person that fulfilled all his obligations for the AWA before he went to WWF. It was Bobby Heenan. Because Vern Guy, look, ask Jerry the King Lawler when they did that show back in the day. It was that pay-per-view. It was the Super Clash. It was Kerry Von. Dude, have y'all ever seen that match? Kerry Von Erich versus Jerry Lawler?
I've heard about this match. I haven't watched it.
You gotta fucking find it and watch it, bro. Like, it is crazy. Blood all over the place. But they did this, and it was a joint situation with with Memphis and the AWA.
They work together a lot. Yep.
It was Memphis territory, AWA, and World Class. It was all of those organizations working together.
Yep.
Vern didn't pay anybody. He took all the money and kept it for himself. Jerry King Lawler, to this day, bro, we in 2025. Never got his money for that show. He kept the belt. He kept the world title. He kept their AWA belt. Never got the money from Super Clash. History lesson.
Yep.
What did they say that Don't Be a Menace to South Central? Knowledge or something
message.
Like that. Message. There you go. That's message. That's the gag.
Message. But on that note, let's go to WWE because there is something that you said, and I do want to bring this up.
Wait. Hold on a second, bro. Hold on. What did they say in his comments? I'm saying like a bunch of shit in the comments. What is in the comments?
That's why I said I ain't putting all that up, but
broke his leg before WrestleMania. That was that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
that's what you're trying to do. Yeah. They was ruthless, bro. Like they were crazy. You like hear these stories, hear people like Cornette talk about like when you were a heel back in the day, and people be pulling guns on you and wanting to like,
bro,
kill
especially in Memphis, in the Memphis territory, bro. They had people you had to be on your shit because the storylines had them people hot, bro.
Yeah.
If you Jimmy Hart, he tells some stories like his stories about that time. And the Memphis territory, he was like, man, bro, like we had to sneak out the back door a lot.
That's how much heat they had.
Yeah.
That's called heat, bro.
Yes.
Yeah. But we go.
Hell yeah. But yeah, great stuff. Let's move to WWE real quick because before I lose train of thought on this one, I do want to jump into this and we gotta talk about this one.
Let's go.
All right, we got a load of WWE news, but I do want to throw this one out here. We didn't talk about this one pre-show, but I did want to bring it up on the show. And that is the AAA acquisition. Worlds Collide was a damn good PLE. It was really, really a well done PLE, which it has me very interested on what they're doing with AAA. We haven't seen any announcements coming out of it, but as far as like TV deal or where they're going in the future, we haven't seen anything on that front. But the setup they did was well done. I did like the announce team of Conan and Corey on commentary. I did like that, but where are we going with this? And the reason I ask is because we've seen now they've acquired people and they're signing people to WWE. The latest in this one is rumored to be Mr. Iguana, which debuted on Worlds Collide. The world got a glimpse of him. The world fell in love with him. Lo and behold, they're going to sign him to NXT, it looks like. So are we getting into this business? And this is my question to you. It doesn't seem like they want to stand up these companies. It looks like they want to acquire these companies, and whatever talent is popping in these companies, they're looking to sign them to WWE. Is that the case, or am I off?
No, you're exactly right. They're doing essentially what they did with WCW.
Right.
What did they want with WCW? They wanted to acquire. Well, they wanted the videotape library.
Right.
They wanted to pick up the contracts of some of the cheaper talent that they can get. So that's where you would get the Billy Kidmans that would come in and the prime time, Eva Skipper and all these different cats, the Lance Storms and all these guys. They were on the lower end of the contract scale, so they were able to pick them up and acquire them. That's exactly what they're doing. They wanted when they originally acquired WCW, they wanted to have WCW be its own thing. That's what Vince wanted, right? Okay, same thing with AAA. They wanted to acquire this one because they've always wanted to what the hell?
Oh, putting up comments.
Okay. They always wanted to go into they always wanted to go into Mexico. Like WWE has always wanted to get into the Mexican market. Yep. So you have an organization there, and Conan will tell you, like, they've had some financial issues. AAA has. So when you get an influx of the WWE money, WWE's on pretty much it. Okay, so this is what I'm getting at. It's a good thing for AAA's business because you're now able to send talents from NXT to Mexico and vice versa. But the problem is going to be, are you going to cherry pick the top talents from AAA and bring them onto WWE TV?
Right.
Then how do you replace those talents?
Right.
The problem, the gag is that you replace them because you have an entire farm system that if you send these talents just the WWE brand name itself, they'll go down and get over.
Right.
So it's a kind of a win-win situation, to be honest with you, because I get the whole point of, Mr. Iguana like blew up. Okay, that's cool, but is Mr. Iguana going to continue to be relevant once he comes to TV, or is he going to flounder? Is he going to come out?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like now fucking Ray Phoenix is now an afterthought, bro.
That's
crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That's crazy.
And so in Penta, it's like, Penta still gets
he's hanging on
his entrance. He's hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at right now. I think it's good for, like I said, AAA's business is good because you have that WWE backing now, that money. WWE now has they got the videotape library there, so you can do some things for that. This is what WWE's all about. WWE's all about acquiring these tape libraries.
Right.
That's what they want.
Right.
There's no different than when they got the Von Erich tape library from Kevin. ECW, this is what they want, man, because they're building up these YouTube channels.
Right.
That they have,
Right. And for me, and you're right, you're totally right about this, is for me, seeing the AAA product on WWE TV was huge for me, right? I don't know if you take a guy like Mr. Iguana and you put him in an environment like NXT that he's going to thrive. If you leave him in that AAA format, you have people that you can build AAA around. Like when they had LWO on the main roster, irrelevant as fuck. But you put them in AAA, they do great work. What they did on that PLE was phenomenal. Same thing with Santos Escobar and his stable. Main roster, irrelevant. But AAA, you could build something around them, and it's their environment, bro. That's their style. They can make stories out of this, and AAA will become it'll be a viable company under the WWE umbrella. But I don't think they're gonna go that way, and I don't even think they're thinking like that. Based off what I'm seeing with Mr. Iguana, it's just like, oh, this guy, he's popular. The crowd loves him, right? Social media is talking about him, and I think that's what they're looking at. How are people reacting to you? All right, we'll take you and we'll put you on NXT, but I guarantee you, after a couple of months, it's probably gonna fall flat.
That's the thing, and let's be clear about this. And it's, look, man, the Mexican talent is always going to thrive in Mexico. It's just it's a given. What translates in Mexico doesn't necessarily translate well here in the United States.
Correct.
Because the LWO never got over in WCW the first time around.
Yep.
That faction never got over. It was the Lucha Libre style. They were good for matches on Nitro. They were like some of the best, matches, best entertaining segments was on Nitro involved the Luchadors.
Yep.
But as a stable with the LWO, that never got over because it never got over because you had the NWO, you had the Wolfpack, you had the Flock. So this stuff never got over, and it just in the same thing. If you put the LWO, like you just said, you put the LWO in AAA, it's gonna get over. They're gonna see an increase in merchandise down there for the LWO because up here, dude, LWO is a dead brand. No one gives a shit about it. It's known as a jobber brand.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right. I agree. And we got a comment. What up, P Dubs? He says same is true for like the New Japan guys as well. Yeah, we talked about that too. Is AEW is kind of guilty of this too. AEW will take New Japan stars and sign them to AEW, but if they had a working relationship, both companies would thrive. So there's points there too. But in the case of AAA, you're under the umbrella, so you can make a show around all of these guys, and it caters to that market, and it will do good. I just don't think that they're thinking like that.
I'm gonna tell you like this: when you brought up New Japan, I think we talked about this offline. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
The thing about New Japan that I kind of find interesting is, Cody Rhodes was on this podcast, and
yes,
and, I'm gonna just start calling him Cody Hogan from now on. So Cody Hogan was on the podcast, and he was talking about how Bullet Club didn't really make any money until he got involved. That's essentially what he said.
Yeah,
like they weren't moving merch.
Yep.
And I'm thinking to myself, bro, Bullet Club was popping way before you ever got involved with Bullet Club, dude. Like you came into Bullet Club on the tail end of that shit. I remember the phenomenon of Bullet Club. I got Bullet Club merch now.
That's when we met.
You know what I'm saying? That's exactly.
Yeah. We both like Bullet Club.
If you see behind me right here, you see an umbrella back there. If you can barely see it, it's by the V.
The villain. Okay.
That's a Bullet Club umbrella.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's a Bullet Club umbrella. Okay. So that's how popular Bullet Club was. And it's way before Cody Rhodes ever got involved in that shit. So I don't know what Cody Hogan is talking about. But when you talk about Bullet Club right quick, and the death of Bullet Club, it's when they signed all the wrestlers to AEW. That was the beginning of the end of the Bullet Club.
I agree.
And that's kind of the beginning, and that's kind of the beginning of the end of New Japan Pro Wrestling's popularity.
Yep.
Because that thing there, I mean, they were doing kick-ass matches, but what kept them afloat and got people back talking about New Japan was the Bullet Club.
Yep.
No different than the 90s. What got people talking about New Japan again? The NWO and their relationship with WCW. So same thing.
I agree. For one guy to come out there and say, yeah, well, it's because of me that, they sold a lot of merchandise and I did it because I'm Cody Hogan. Fuck out of here. That was crazy. When I heard it, I was like, bro, I know my fandom was like the Bullet Club kind of cooled off when you came around. Honestly. Because that's when you start splitting the Bullet Club into two different types of factions, kind of like the original Black and White and the Wolfpack.
Well, remember this? Do you remember when AJ left Bullet Club?
Yes.
Remember, AJ left Bullet Club, and soon after, Gallows and Anderson show up. They all show up at WWE. Yep. That was really the beginning of the end. Of Bullet Club, and then it's like they had the Omega and all them, and then Omega and the Bucks weren't really rocking Bullet Club like that. They were the Elite. So that's where you kind of saw it. And I'm like, okay, this shit's falling apart here, bro. Because it's like now you got this kind of, it was a civil war. You had the Bullet Club over here, the Elite Bullet Club, but then you had the Tongans.
The Firing Squad.
Firing Squad. Yep.
You
know what I'm saying? So you had that going on. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be cool. Nothing ever came from it.
Nope. Still waiting on that because I did like the angle.
Yeah, but we'll never
get that. We'll never get that. But yeah, for Cody to say that was wild. That was crazy.
What's his what's these comments here? I'm seeing them pull up. I just can't.
So that's P Dubs. He said he got Bullet Club tattooed on him.
Ah.
And then he said Damian was looking at Coulda like, "Why you capping?"
He
was like, "Bro, what?"
Like, look, Cody Hogan, like, bro.
He's like, "Hey, whoa." He said, "Yeah, and Trash Club just ain't doing it. You can't go from guys like Balor, Omega, and White in with Dave Finlay, and that's where we are now.
That's kind of what, and the popularity is just it's just not there anymore, bro. Like
you don't have
been there for a while,
right? You don't have a guy there. If there was a guy there now, it probably would be Gabe Kidd, but he's not in Bullet Club, so." You always needed that one guy that was like the shit, but you don't have that anymore. So, and if they did, even Gabe Kidd showing up in AEW. So it's like,
but AEW has that relationship with New Japan. It's like, okay, you got the Death Riders angle going on here, and invite the Bucks and go, well, we got to stop this. How do we stop this? What are we gonna do to stop this? Oh shit, we know what we're gonna do. We're gonna hook up with Anderson Gallows. We're gonna be Bullet Club.
Right.
Bullet Club's coming to AEW. Yep. That's what you would do. That kind of works out.
Yep. Oh, look, P Dub says Gabe Kidd is in the club now. Goddamn. Well, see, there you go. There you go.
Wait. So he says he's the underboss. Oh, so is Bad Luck Fale involved in Bullet Club?
I don't know. I haven't seen Fale in a minute. And to that point, I haven't been keeping up with New Japan that much either.
Yeah, honestly, when AEW came along, I New
Japan. That was, I tap in from time to time, but it's nothing like it was. I had the subscription because
we went to the shows, bro.
Yeah, I was like, bro, I gotta be locked in because they doing some good shit, and it ain't like that no more.
We went to the show.
Going to that one,
that one in Long Beach. This right here.
Yep.
This is the ticket to that show.
I still got mine too.
Yeah, that's the ticket.
I still got mine too. But yeah, it's like that. And bro, that card was crazy.
It was.
If you go back and look at that card was, I think Marty Scurll versus Will Ospreay was on that card.
Yeah, it was Young Bucks versus God.
Yep.
It was Cody Rhodes versus somebody. Cody was there with Brandy.
Yep.
And JR was on commentary.
Yep. And that's one of the last shows that they were at. And I think Tony Khan was at that show too. So yeah, crazy show. That car was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, hell yeah. But let's jump back. Let's jump back into the conversation because we got to hit the meat and potatoes. Yeah. Jey Uso lost his championship
right
on a random episode of Monday Night Raw.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see it coming. But another person who didn't see it coming and had some shit to say about it was Rikishi. And to his point, I gotta kind of agree with him. He was like, bro, y'all could have did something more with his championship reign. Y'all could have put him in some more meaningful stuff. Having to end at 52 days. Like, I don't think you would do this with John Cena. I don't know about that, but
I sent you a chart.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna bring it up, but
yeah.
On is that, I asked this to the group, is this him being a dad in his dad phase, or is what he's saying really valid?
Bruh, the man went out there and said you wouldn't do this to John Cena, you wouldn't dare do this to Randy Orton. So why is it? What do you got against my boy?
Right.
Now he didn't say my boys because he didn't say nothing about Solo or Jimmy. He said,
right.
What do you got against my boy? Look, we keep it 1,000 on this podcast. He's pointing out the bias of what's going on here. Is there some racial bias going on here? That's what Rikishi's saying. What do you got against my boy? We've been hearing the stories. You and I, we talk about these things. It's no secret about like what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is like you did this to put the match on with Goldberg versus Gunther.
Yep.
Like, bro, Why didn't you just let him drop the title? If he was on drop, and I can't believe I'm actually going to say this. He should have just dropped the damn belt to Logan Paul. If he was going to drop it to anybody.
Oh.
I can't believe I'm saying that.
Oh.
But the Logan Paul Goldberg match sounds way more appealing to me than Gunther versus Goldberg. And it would have been more of a draw.
That's a fact.
That's just me, though. But I'm going to tell you, they got to do something with the booking here, because you're across the board. There's a lot of names missing from this situation, this equation here. The math ain't mathing to me. So when it comes to Jey Uso, you gave Jey Uso the Royal Rumble win because he was yeeting and it got over. That's why you gave it to him, which is okay. That's cool. But you knew his title win didn't mean shit when they put the Elimination Chamber on, and that became a bigger deal. Because remember,
you're right.
You used to go to, it used to be, you win the Rumble, you get the main event at WrestleMania, right?
Yes.
Bro was not the main event of shit.
You're right.
He wasn't the main event of night 1. He damn sure wasn't the main event of night 2. His title match became second-class citizen, pretty much.
He opened the show.
You opened the show.
Yeah.
Not even giving, bro, the courage to say, we're going to build 2 main events. One's going to be... I'm sorry. I thought that was the entire reason of having 2 championships. Was one's representing one show, the other representing the other show. Why not do WrestleMania where you have the Raw titles defended on night 2, the SmackDown belts defended on night 1? Okay, I think that's like, I don't know. You have Jey Uso versus Gunther. That's your guy. That's your guy, right? That's how you end the night, with Jey Uso in the ring with Jimmy Uso, celebrating the championship win. You can even bring Rikishi out there in the ring.
That was a good moment too.
You can even have Solo out there, looking like, what the hell? You can have Solo in the role of Owen Hart. When Owen was out there, when Brett won the belt at WrestleMania 10, when all the wrestlers were out there celebrating with him, and Owen's like, what the hell? I just beat you earlier tonight. They missed so many opportunities here with Jey. And then Jay's back teaming with Cody. Then Jay's back teaming with Seth. And then all he's doing is cheating. And the promo ability is lacking now. It's like they put I don't know. It's like they put the weight on Jey Uso's shoulders, and Jey Uso he couldn't handle it. It's like what happened with Eddie Guerrero. Same kind of situation there. And you had nothing for him. Creatively, you had nothing for Jey Uso. Jey Uso was not given great storylines. He was not given world caliber matches. He wasn't given that. You did the same shit to him that you did to the Ultimate Warrior back in the day, when Warrior had nobody to work with, when he won the belt. What did you do with Warrior? You put him right back in there with Rick Rude.
Yep.
You had nothing for Warrior. And then you say, well, why did Warrior founder as champion? Well, because Warrior wasn't, he couldn't carry it. It's like almost like you set him up. Same thing here with this dude. Same thing here with Shawn Michaels. When Shawn Michaels won the belt in '96 from Bret, who did you put him in the ring with? He had nobody to work with. Because Hall and Nash were going to WCW. He had one match with Nash. Good friends, bitter enemies.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
And after that, you had nobody. He was working with Sid. You know, you would think when Bret came back, you were gonna have the match with Bret and Shawn. That didn't happen because they didn't want to work with each other. Same thing with Jey Uso. Who did Jey Uso work with this entire reign? Can you name me one standout match that Jey Uso has had that they put on? No, other than maybe Logan Paul.
Yeah.
And if you go, and it's like, why would you not continue that story? And then you say, okay, well, the hell with this. We're gonna have Cody Rhodes come back, and Cody Rhodes, instead of going for Cena's world title, we're gonna have him. I want to tag team against you and Logan Paul. What? That to me didn't make any damn sense either. So I don't know. So to me personally, Jey Uso got screwed over, and that's how I feel about that. And I'm gonna stand on that. He got played. They gave you the belt and took the belt off of you because we got bigger plans. We got bigger stars. Yeah, you're good for yeeting. That's good. You sell a lot of merchandise. Cool.
But merch.
You're not championship material. And I'm sorry, the World Heavyweight Championship doesn't mean shit. They've already told you it doesn't mean shit. Because you know how it doesn't mean shit? Because during Monday Night Raw, when CM Punk was out there with John Cena, Seth Rollins came out there and says, I want to cash in this match. He didn't come out there and say, I want to cash in on Gunther. I didn't want to cash in on Jey. He went right for the big dog. Yep. Why is that? Isn't the World Heavyweight Championship the WWE, the Raw title?
Yeah.
Why would he not want to cash in on that?
That is, bro. that is very much true. And the fact that you have Jey Uso, I think this diminishes Gunther too, because you have Gunther. Gunther lost to Jey Uso, and then they put him in a match with Pat McAfee, and they don't really
what was that?
Yeah, they don't really have him doing much either. And then all of a sudden, you go back to Jey, and then you beat Jey, and then now they're gonna give you Goldberg potentially. Like,
hey, listen, I got nothing against Goldberg other than you kicking the shit out of Bret Hart and ending his career, which that's unforgivable. And people say, why is Bret Hart so bitter about that? I don't know. You cost the guy millions of dollars and he got fired from WCW, right? And then he had a damn stroke. Why would he be bitter about that? I mean, what the hell? But at the same time, look, man, Goldberg's retirement match should happen a long time ago. Like, this is 2025, and we're pivoting back to Goldberg. And Goldberg was a WCW creation. Right? I'm not gonna knock Goldberg because I lived through the Monday Night War. I saw the phenomenon of Goldberg. Goldberg's first match he ever had in the territory. Goldberg's very first match was against Hugh Morris on WCW Nitro, September 1997. That's when we first saw Bill Goldberg. Okay, from seeing him in that match with Hugh Morris, where Morris went out there and made him like $1 million, up to when he wrestled Hogan on July 6th or 7th, 1998 on Nitro in the Georgia Dome.
They built that man into a monster, bro.
They built him into a monster.
Yeah.
It all came to an end at Starrcade 98 with the taser.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So to see it come full circle, look, bro, this match between him and Gunther has been building since October of last year. Bad blood. Remember that in Atlanta. Okay. Yeah. You could have had this at WrestleMania if you want to be technical about it.
You could have.
You could have done it at WrestleMania.
Yep.
If you want, you could have even had Goldberg come out there and win the Rumble to wrestle for the world title. I mean, how much of a send off would that be? Would that have been if you have Goldberg at WrestleMania possibly win the championship? Then Goldberg drops the belt at Saturday Night's Main Event.
Yeah, I think that'd have been a better way to do it instead of just him coming out and challenging. And that's where my problem is.
Back says no yeet.
But he said, like, just him popping up and challenging for the title. Like, we got to cut this shit out, bro. Cut it out. Because Goldberg, he is a legend. He is a Hall of Famer. But
yes,
bro, we got to stop this, bro. You got people that's been working towards this that you could have built around and made a credible story out of, just for Jey Uso to lose to Gunther. And then, bro, if I see Goldberg pop up and challenge Gunther for this title, yeah, I'm watching all in, bro.
Well, you know what? But you know what's okay? So let me ask you a question right quick. What would have been a bigger match? Would it have been Goldberg versus Logan Paul? Would it have been Goldberg versus Gunther? Or could you have possibly put Goldberg in there against Jey Uso? Because you got to have Goldberg there somewhere. Now, I think if I'm Jey Uso, I'm like, dude, this is like, for Jey Uso, this would be like probably a dream come true. You're wrestling Goldberg, like one of the biggest stars of the Monday Night War. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna disparage Goldberg for the impact that Goldberg had on the business. My thing is this, bro. The impact he had on the business, and coming back here, you kind of disrupted what's going on here with Jey Uso. Like, I don't know, bro. It's like this is the shit. I don't know. Somebody put a torch to this. Like, it's the Death Star, and fucking Jey Uso was on. Jey Uso was there, or was Jey Uso on Alderaan, and they decided to blow it up, and the world title was gone. So, shit.
Look, we got to comment Goldberg versus Gilbert.
That's money.
Book it.
That's money. That is money. But hey, I saw an interview with Dwayne Gill, and Dwayne Gill says even to this day, I mean, he said he's cordial with Goldberg, but Goldberg don't really fuck with him because Goldberg's so mad about that Gilbert thing.
Bro, that shit was hilarious. I ain't gonna front.
It's like Goldberg, like, dude, it's just a like, you in the business, bro. It's a gag. Like, what are you talking about?
Don't be mad at that. Y'all was doing the same shit.
He wasn't, but Goldberg always took it seriously, though, man.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
He don't like that type of shit.
I know.
It's like when he came over to WWE, it's like, you know, he was still mad about that. Like, but you weren't mad about them putting you in a gold wig or blonde wig. You weren't mad about that.
Nope. Because it's money. You're paid.
But real quick, going back to it, do you think there's some? Do you think that Rikishi's hinting around the racial bias? Because he mentioned 2 white guys.
I think he does, but I also want to bring up this graphic real quick because we got to blow this theory out. And what he's saying does have some merit. I'm not gonna front on that.
It does.
But if you look at Jey Uso's run and you compare that with somebody else's, it's like it's night and day. You know what I mean? Like you kind of don't have a point in what you're saying. So I'm gonna bring up this graphic, and
we'll the graphic.
Yep, here's the graphic. Hold on.
We are waiting the graphic.
Here's the graphic. So you look at John Cena's title reigns, and these are all of his title reigns. And you look at the amount of days. Jey Uso had a 52-day reign. Look at John Cena's title reigns. He didn't have that long title reigns. His longest title reign is 380 days. Second longest, 280 days. But if you look at John Cena's runs, didn't have a lot. He didn't hold it that long. And if you look at Jey Uso's reign, maybe there's room for him to come back. If I'm looking at this graphic and I'm looking at the amount of title reigns that John Cena had, it kind of gives me hope for Jey Uso, honestly, because he's still popular.
I don't have any hope for it. I don't have any hope for it. I don't. Let me tell you something. Like why I don't have any hope for this.
Why?
I'm gonna bring this up. Okay. Remember earlier I was talking about the Ultimate Warrior, right? Okay.
Yep.
Ultimate Warrior beats Hogan at WrestleMania 6. The torch is passed, right?
Yep.
Warrior lost that belt in January of '91 to Sergeant Slaughter at the Royal Rumble. Warrior never got it again, even with his popularity. He held the company up at SummerSlam '91.
You're right.
He got fired after that. They brought him back. He had one more program with Macho Man and SummerSlam '92, Wembley Stadium, for the WWF Championship, which he did not win. I don't think Jey Uso is going to get the belt back. I think Jey Uso is pretty much done.
You think he's a one and done
champion? I think it's a one and done. I don't see him getting it. I don't. Not at all.
And
he's not. He is not John. He sells a lot of merch. He's over. He is not John Cena.
Right.
He's not.
And that's where I'm at with it. Is like he is still popular. You know what I mean? Like I know a lot of people are saying his title reign wasn't it, but if he works on his promo, which I wouldn't have put him in that scenario, bro. Like honestly, because I think that's the main issue.
His promo. His promo. I don't know what happened with Jey. Like Jey started just he would be doing this entrance and he'd be out of breath when he got in the ring. He couldn't do his promo and all that. He rested on his laurels, and what I mean by that is he rested on the yeet. And that was it. And it's like you gotta have more than that, bro, to sell this shit. That's why it's like people talk about these things. Like, is he even cutting good promos anymore? Is
right.
That's what it is. Like, and it's like it was showing like a flop kind of a situation. The thing with The Rock is The Rock will go out there and talk you into this program. Stone Cold Steve Austin will talk you into a program. Roddy Piper will talk you in. Macho Man will talk you in. Hulk Hogan will talk you in. Ric Flair will talk you in. Dusty Rhodes will talk you in. You know what I'm saying? Ultimate Warrior would not talk you in. Ultimate Warrior would be like, what the hell is he talking about? That's what you get.
Right.
But it would sound cool, so you cheer. Like Jey Uso's out there, one word, whatever. I can't tell you what he says. I don't pay attention to it. Like there's nothing there that's going to be like, okay, this guy is in that caliber. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But listen, Diamond Dallas Page was way more over than Jey Uso. I mean, he got it 3 times. So,
yeah.
I just don't think they're invested. I think that they're not invested in it. They gave Jey Uso his right. And okay, so I'm gonna put it like this. I'm gonna tell you another thing. You could do Gunther versus Goldberg, but you didn't have to have the world title involved in the situation. So that tells me right there that they just gave up on Jey as champion. Now, I'm not sure if Jey Uso is injured or whatever the situation may be. They just gave up on him as a champion, said we're going to go another direction. You know how the shit goes. They're going in another direction.
Yep.
But my thing, too, is like you could have gave the title to Logan Paul. Let Logan Paul run with it.
Honestly, if I knew that Jay was losing the title, I probably would have suggested that too, because now at least that title is being seen on a broader audience. Because as much as we hate Logan Paul, his audience is huge. So that I agree with.
Somebody, we got look at these comments because we're gonna like.
That's funny. That's funny. People are agreeing with this. It's funny, but it's true. It's true.
When I saw him out there with John Cena real quick, when I saw him saying that's John Cena, and he held the world title, I'm like, this dude doesn't actually look bad with the World Heavyweight Championship. He doesn't look bad at all as a champion. So, and I'm not a Logan Paul fan. So if that's me saying this, I'll tell you something.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I'm the same way. As much as I don't like Logan Paul as a person, him as a wrestler, I gotta respect it, man. And he looks good. He fits the part. He wrestles well, and I do think he's capable of holding that championship. So,
I'm listen. Hold on. So bring up this comment. It's let's see. We missing a big point. Jay dropping. Yeah, we missed a big point. Jay dropping the belt, bringing back Goldberg and everything else. Laugh aloud. The fans mad over this. I'm mad. The fans don't know about this shit. They don't know Goldberg's involvement. Like we know about it.
Right.
But the normies don't know about this shit.
Right.
So they're gonna look at this like
so when Goldberg inevitably pops out, like people
they're gonna pop big for it. They're gonna go crazy for this because they're the normies. They know Goldberg. So they don't listen. They don't care about that. Like they don't look at it like we do. They just know that, oh shit, Goldberg's back. Oh shit, remember what they had in October? That's what they remember.
Right.
Jey Uso, what's next for Jey Uso? Well, let's put Jey Uso back with his brother, which they actually said recently.
Yeah, because
they want to get back.
You see the writing on the wall. They're gonna be in a program with the New Day.
Yeah. So that's what they're gonna do. It's fine to give New Day something to do.
Yeah.
Because you, Dave, you talking about the lost heat. Jeez, man.
I have no idea what. Well, I do. I do.
And why are we repeating the same story with Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez that we did with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan? Why are we doing the same shit? Like, come on, bro.
Recycle, rinse, recycle,
repeat. There you
go. Yep. Hey, but it is what it is, man. And let's end it on this. I'll say this definitively on this show. R-Truth being released is not a work, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it was not a work.
That is not a work.
It is not a work. It was not.
Was not a work. That man
somebody I know that's in the business, okay? It's a Hall of Famer in the business. I talked to him after this happened because he talked to Ron Killings. It was not a work.
Not a work.
Not a work.
Absolutely, that was a shoot.
Yep.
And it's funny hearing Triple H's explanation for it.
Oh, he's so full of shit.
Yeah, it's like, bro, just be honest, man. Just be honest.
He don't want to be honest. Because you know why he don't want to be? Because first of all, he don't want to be honest about it. And second of all, he would not appreciate us even talking about this because we're just some wrestling fans. Why are you guys even talking about this creative process? You don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's his mentality. And that's the mentality of WWE. And this is the reason why they are floundering like they are. You're overpricing your fans. You're gouging your fans with $40,000 ticket prices for SummerSlam. You took WrestleMania out of New Orleans. You brought it back to Vegas out of greed.
That's another thing.
You remember WCW had a pay-per-view called Greed? Was their last show they ever did? WCW Greed in 2001. Yep. That was the last pay-per-view. WWE had to acquire that and bring it back because that's what it is. TKO presents Greed, where you're going to see more commercials than you do wrestling.
Yeah, man. And it's like, bro, you didn't even have to say that because WWE has walked back firings before. They have. We have instances where the fans have actually brought back fans. Wrestler, sorry. And this one's no different, man. The public outcry for R-Truth being released was heavy. And somebody explained this too. It's like a 48-hour window. But even after that release in 48-hour window, people were still clamoring for R-Truth. You start hearing his name pop up at shows. They canceled appearances for this man that he was supposed to have. And then all of a sudden, he pops back up. And then it's like, you enjoying the show, right? Hell nah, bro. Just tell us the truth. Tell us exactly what happened. We grown. We can handle the truth. We made a mistake. We released him. The public wanted him back, so now he's back. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Just be honest about it. But now it's like you trying to save face for something you don't even have to save face for, bro. People make mistakes. We ain't perfect. Just say what happened. And that's what pisses me off. And then this whole WrestleMania thing, it's like, what's going on with this? Are we going to be honest? Are we going to be honest about this one?
It's a cluster. It's a complete cluster. Real quick. No, it was Scott Steiner versus DDP for the world title.
Yes.
I agree. 2001. Booker T wrestled Rick Steiner, I believe.
Yep.
But no, it's a complete just backpedal. Like, you don't want to admit the truth. Like, you're trying to shield. Listen, there is no kayfabe anymore. You know why there's no kayfabe? Because you guys told us that kayfabe no longer exists.
Exactly.
You came out in January and said, we have heels and faces, heroes and villains. And you exposed the business. You exposed it more than Vince ever did. We're in the real business. Remember, WWE Unreal is coming to Netflix. It's going to show you the whole creative process. What did they say in that screenshot? Oh, Cody's selling. Oh my God, Cody's selling. This is great. You're exposing this shit. So don't tell me it's all part of the show. When Ron Killings comes out there and says, I got released, his son comes out there and says, cap to Triple H, saying that it was a work.
Yep.
Come on now.
If you're gonna tell us the inner workings of it, then be all the way honest, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with that shit. Because you've already conditioned us to the fact that some of this shit just ain't real and some of it is.
Look.
Let me know.
I'm gonna sum it like this. Y'all had a sheet up there, and y'all put everybody on that list of who y'all thought wasn't worth a damn. Ron Killings was on that list.
Yep.
Because you said basically this dude being 52, 53 years old, he ain't worth it. We can cut Ron Killings. Nobody will give a damn. Who would care about Ron Killings? That's what you thought. And you found out otherwise. Yep. Because not only were the fans upset about this, the talent themselves were mad about this.
Yep.
So I had to show you the impact that Ron Killings has in WWE. And now this resurgence of Ron Killings, not R-Truth, but Ron Killings. Now, the fact that Cena is still working with Ron Killings, I'll tell you something. Because the story came out that Cena had found out about this situation with Ron, and he tried to boost him up. That's why he put him in the match at Saturday Night's Main Event, was to help boost Ron up.
Yep.
To show his WWE his worth. Cena sees it.
Yep.
But Triple H didn't see it. I'm sorry, he didn't. And
he signed off on
he didn't. He signed off on the shit.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of Hunter defenders out there. Hunter signed off on this. And then instead of coming out and being a man about it, you're trying to play this like it's a shoot. Like, no, I'm trying to play like it's a work. When in reality it's a shoot. You fired the guy.
Right.
Because if it's all part of the show, I'm sorry. Hey, when's Carlito showing back up?
Exactly. Exactly. Like you had, and no one's mentioning Carlito. And that's the wild part, right? And it's like, bro, ever since that shit happened with Bret Hart, the Montreal screw job, like, I've learned there's certain people, like, bro, if their name comes up, chances are they're involved in this shit, bro. So, and he's one of them. If his name comes up and it has to do with some that happened to someone and he denies it, you got to look into it, bro. Because
shit. Somebody, I'm reading the comments. It says apples are expensive. They can't afford Carlito. Hey, listen. It was at one point in 96 and 97 that they were getting their ass stomped in by WCW. They couldn't even afford to refill the water machines at Titan Tower. That's real shit. That's a true story.
Real shit.
They couldn't afford to fill up the damn things with water, bro. That's how bad it got. But you listen to any interview Vince McMahon's ever done, well, Ted Turner, he was coming after us, the big billionaire. We're a mom and pop, we're a small organization. We never did nothing to nobody. Yeah.
Bullshit. But
and they can afford them apples.
Yeah.
They got I bet you go back there and cater and there's sliced apples everywhere.
Hell yeah. But and this is the difference between the WWE and the WWE under TKO.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference. You're seeing it in real time.
Well, no, not really. I'm not gonna go that far because they've released a lot of people before TKO even came in. So they've been releasing people. It's just this time around, this fan outcry has been successful in bringing someone back. The only person that's ever left a company that people chanted their name was CM Punk. And I think maybe Bray Wyatt. He was the only other one that I remember.
Yep.
So the fact that the fans had a voice to bring him back, that's never happened before. So when Triple H over there say, "Oh, you enjoyed the show? Saw a part of the show. Yeah, saw a part of the show." Oh, and Matt Hardy.
Yep, Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Matt Hardy. When
he was one of my examples. Yeah.
He came out there and yelled ROH. Oh shit. Was this part of the show or not?
Hell yeah.
Well, when Matt Hardy came back, it was all part of the show too.
Just be honest, bro. That's all we asking. That's it.
I can't be honest with you. You're just a fan and sit back and shut up and enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show.
Exactly. Shut up and enjoy it.
Breaking records, but can't keep your people, man.
We're doing tremendous business right now. I think I know what I'm doing.
Selling out gates.
Selling out the gates. Do you hear the concert out there when the wrestlers come out there? It's one big concert.
If you come in this arena, you hear the fans. They're pretty happy.
Yeah, exactly. Those damn guys over there, those No Gimmicks podcast, they're out there killing the kayfabe. They were killing the business. Like, go and shut them down right now. They can't talk about me. I'm the king of kings.
Hell yeah, man. Well, let's wrap this up. Let's get to our final shots.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up. The final shots.
Absolutely. All right, brother. What you got?
I am the game.
Oh man, nah, for real. Thank you to everybody that tuned in, bro. This was a good live.
Yeah, it's a really good live.
We had some pretty good comments tonight, and I met Lemmy once, and he was like, "You want a theme song?" And I was like, "Yeah, give me."
I want it to be about me. I'm the game, and I want it to be all about me. I don't want it to be like, if you could do the lyric, could be it's all about the game and how you play it. If you could do that, and I also want another song in a few years after that. I want it to be called Evolution. You say Evolution is a mystery. I want it to be like that. You should do that for me, yeah. And the King of Kings, you do that. Yeah, do that for me too.
Hell yeah. But nah, man, thank y'all for tuning in tonight, man. Great show. Check us out.
I'm sorry. Is it daylight outside?
Night. It's night. By the time this will come out, it'll be night. So
shit, man. What is some multiverse shit?
Let it rock.
What am I in the world between worlds?
Yes. Kayfabe, brother. Kayfabe.
Oh yeah, kayfabe. It's nighttime, ladies and gentlemen.
But yeah, man, thank y'all for checking this out. Thank you we got a subscriber out of the show, so thank you, P Dubs, for subscribing to the show.
Yeah, appreciate
it. Appreciate it. And yeah, man, thank y'all for tuning in. D Vader, hit him with the line.
Well, I got several lines. You know what? So I'm working on. That sounded real bad. Several lines. No, I don't do that. No, we don't do that. So basically, I'm still working on the Kenobi Vader helmet. Still doing that process, whatever. Painting it the other day. The weather here in Texas fucked up the paint job, so I got to go back and strip it. So yeah. But anyways, still working on that. Also, don't forget to help control the pet population. Have a pet spayed or neutered. That's the line that D Vader says on the podcast. That's my line. It's never been said before. I'm looking at you, Bob Barker. Anyways, that's the line. That's a gag. Other than that, appreciate the support out there. Appreciate it. This was actually a fun one here. You know, we've actually kind of got no gimmicks rocking on Saturdays. I just think it fits because we can have all the bullshit that goes through the week. And we just talked about it here, and it's cool to have this interaction with people, and it's a great thing. I enjoy it. I really do.
Me too,
my man
bro.
back here,
Fun show.
My man back here, Darth Vader. Hey, did you guys see the CM Punk reference to Vader in Obi-Wan last night on SmackDown? That was actually pretty good shit. I enjoyed it. That was my favorite part of the promo, of course.
Good shit. Very good shit.
I was watching, I was like, oh, shit, he mentioned Vader.
Yeah, that was good shit, man. that was good shit. But yeah, man. Yeah, tune in. I got nothing else, bro. If you got nothing else, we can get on out of here.
Nothing else. Just enjoy what you like to watch. Stay out the bullshit.
Yep.
They ain't got nothing to do with us. And that's it, man.
All right, man. Thank y'all once again for tuning in. Until next time, enjoy. Take care of each other. Peace.
And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmicks.